Strangely enough, Catalina looked back at Leese again, her expression a touch desperate. Even from a distance, he felt her silent request for help. "Stay put unless you see that I need you," Leese told Justice. He was pretty sure he could handle things without drawing his gun, but there was always a chance he'd cause a ruckus, and then, to protect her, they'd need to make a run for it. "Be ready with the car," Justice grumbled. "I miss all the fun." His boots crunching in the frozen snow, Leese headed toward her in a casual stride. Relief took the starch out of her shoulders. If he could diffuse things without violence, that'd be for the best. Right now, the bus station was all but empty. But if a brawl broke out, for sure it'd draw attention from somewhere. As he approached, the men all went still, watchful, before deciding he didn't matter. Idiots. Leese stepped up in front of her, blocking the pushiest guy, forcing him back a step. "Hey! Excuse me." Insinuating himself between her and the big goon, Leese insulated her from trouble, then turned to face her. Catalina was probably a foot shorter than him, and even in the thick coat she seemed slim all over. She tipped back her head and stared up at him with big blue eyes that were both wary and defiant. By silent agreement, she trusted him, when that was the very last thing she should have done. No wonder he'd been sent to her. Leese hefted her bag, which weighed a ton, and maintaining the casual vibe, said, "This way," indicating where he'd been standing watch. Without bothering to look at the other men, she drew a careful breath, braced herself, and nodded in agreement. Insane. The woman had no self-protection mechanism. She didn't know him from Adam, but was willing to blindly saunter off with him. When he'd been assigned this case, not once had he expected it to be this easy. On the contrary, everything he'd been told had led him to believe it would be a total pain in the ass to keep her safe. She took 2 steps. The closest goon said, "This is bullshit." Pausing, Lee huffed out a breath. "Let it go." "The hell I will!" Hearing the elevated voice, he turned just in time to dodge a thick fist. Still holding her bag, Leese landed a knee to the man's midsection, then flattened him with an elbow to the chin. The guy's eyes rolled back and he collapsed like a rag doll, one leg bent awkwardly beneath him, his jaw slack. Eyeing the remaining 2, Leese popped his neck and waited. "Anyone else?" Being wiser than they looked, they declined further violence. As the downed man came around with a groan, Leese backed up with Catalina. "Get your friend out of the slush before hypothermia sets in." It was so bitter cold it wouldn't take long for the elements to affect a body, especially when drenched in wet snow. While Wayne remained hostile, the other man rushed forward to help his friend back to his feet. Tottering, he made his way to a curb where he slumped, still unsteady. There were no more smiles when Wayne said, "She owes me." "How much?" Paying off the guy would be easier than debating it on such a bitter night, and more expedient than refusing them with his fists. Wayne's eyes narrowed. "Not money." "Ah, well, I can't even up with you then. Guess you're out of luck." Jaw grinding, Wayne glared at him. "I gave her a place to stay. I fed her, bought her those boots and coat, and you figured on getting paid how?" Throughout it all, Catalina stayed behind him. Wayne growled, "She knows what I expected." Leaning around, tone apologetic, Catalina whispered,
"Yeah, about that. I never planned to sleep with you, Wayne. I'm sorry. I promise I will repay you. I just can't right now. But I do have your address, so—"
"Fuck you," Wayne snarled. Growing impatient, Leese said, "Apparently that's not happening." He set down the suitcase and pushed aside his open coat, showing the Glock in a belt holster at his side. The men stared uneasily. Catalina sucked in a startled breath. Ignoring those reactions, Leese looked at her boots, then lifted the collar of the coat, examining it. While they were decent protection against the elements, they weren't high-end items, probably bought at a discount department store. Definitely not worth Catalina prostituting herself. He withdrew his wallet and pulled out a few hundreds. "This will have to suffice." He folded the money, walked up to Wayne, and held it out. After a ripe hesitation, Wayne took the cash. With a dose of menace, Leese warned, "Don't come after her again." Wayne nodded, said something low to the uninjured man, and the 3 of them retreated behind the tall buildings. Leese felt Catalina retreating as well. Out of patience and feeling stern, he faced her. "Don't run."